I think you should take lead on this video.
Yeah, because I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? It's Dom.
Yasmin, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm interested, y'all. You know we don't have these conversations pre-recording.
No, and I got some stuff to get off my chest today because we watched. It's a Netflix documentary that just came out called "Is That Black Enough for You?" And Elvis Mitchell, who is a film critic, and he put out this documentary that's examining black films, specifically like the blaxploitation era. So black films in like the 70s, basically.
Yeah.
I was very excited for this movie.
Yeah.
I was very, very excited for this movie. Movie history. I like movies. I like history. I like black people. So put them all together. This was for me.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we started watching the movie. And I'm gonna start out with the positives, right? So the research that went into this movie, this documentary, the detail in which like the timeline was crafted of like how everything started, what events led to what events, and how all of that came about. I thought that was very well done. I thought this movie was very well researched, because a lot of times when you tell a story or you say something about something, a lot of people like to leave out the context.
Yeah.
So the documentary did a good job of explaining like the real life circumstances that was going on that led to certain things happening.
Yeah.
I was ready for it. I was locked in. We get to see a lot of people. We get to see like Lawrence Fishburne talk.
That's a nice change.
Samuel L. Jackson talk.
But I still wanted to be them.
It was some of these people I never knew like were young.
Right, we never get to see him young.
Yeah, so I was like, oh.
And I don't realize how old some of them are because they've been around for so long.
That's fact.
Because Lawrence Fishburne talked about how he was originally cast in Cooley High. Was it Cooley High or Claudine?
Claudine.
He was originally cast as one of the kids in Claudine, but ended up not being in it. And I was like, you were around it? You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's stuff that feels like a long time ago isn't really that long ago, because a lot of these people are still alive, or just recently died. Like they spent a lot of time talking about Sidney Poitier, and Sidney Poitier just died, and Helen Belafonte is still around.
Yeah, and
we got to get a look at all of these really pivotal figures and people we hadn't heard about, people behind the scenes, directors and writers and stuff like that. So it was very, very interesting. They really did their homework, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was in it. Like, I thought it was great. Well, not great, because I did like, for comparison's sake, documentaries. I did like the Fire Next Time better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was more enthralling, but I liked it. I liked the documentary. I felt like I learned a lot. I felt like I walked away with a lesson. Yeah, like I liked it. I felt like it gave me a little guilt about me, downloading all those illegal movies as a child.
And it also made me feel bad that I hadn't seen enough of these movies. Like I seen Superfly and The Mac, and I seen maybe one Shaft film. But all of these, I've never seen Claudine.
And shout out to my mom, because I was thinking that too. Because I was like, oh, like I've seen a lot of these movies actually. Like,
no clue.
Well, a good amount. Well, no. I've just seen a lot of Pam Grier movies.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of
I don't know that I've seen any Pam Grier movie. Not like of that era. I've seen her do some more like early 2000s stuff. But I don't know that I've seen a Pam Grier like 70s movie.
Yeah, I definitely have at least 2 of her movies. And then, I saw Cooley High. And it was a couple others I recognized that I sat and watched with my mom. And I was like, okay, Mom, that's what's up.
To me, it was a missed opportunity to have somebody else narrate this movie, because I think it's Elvis Mitchell. You can tell from how he wrote it and his narration that it's a very personal topic for him.
Yeah,
and he was, talking about how all of this meant to him and how where he was and all of this type of stuff. But at the same time, I don't want to be mean, but
You could say it was a little boring.
Yeah, because he's very monotone.
Yeah.
And at the same, there was very little variation in his narration.
Yeah.
So everything was on the same kind of tone as this throughout the whole movie, and to the point where he was saying stuff and he was like making jokes and being sarcastic. And it took me a second to realize. I was like, "Oh, that was supposed to be funny." You know what I'm saying? Because it was a well written joke, but the way he delivered it
wasn't there.
Yeah, and I'm like, you had access to Lawrence Fishburne because he's in the movie.
Yeah.
And so these people, to me, it's just, and it didn't have to be Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah,
obviously,
but just somebody.
But somebody, he should have. To me, this movie would have been immensely elevated if just by getting somebody else to narrate it. And I mean, that could have been like a production thing, like it wasn't in the budget, or it just logistically he couldn't get it done.
But you felt like it hindered.
I felt like the narration of this movie is what stops it from being a documentary I would recommend to anybody.
Okay.
The only other criticism I would have, and it's not a real criticism, it's just something that I noticed while watching it, is that when you watch the trailer for the documentary, it's very heavily leans into Lawrence Fishburne talking about that time, Samuel L. Jackson talking about that time. And to me, there wasn't a lot of that.
No, it
wasn't. It was very sparse. When you had Zendaya showed up to talk about her influences, and you had some other people show up. And I wish that and to me, that is probably like a lack of access.
Oh, you think so?
It was probably, I mean, you probably only had these people for maybe an hour. And when you're shooting a documentary, you don't know what you're going to get, right?
Right.
So you have this idea of of the focus of it. But then when you're interviewing these people to get their honest reactions, you don't know what they're going to say. Okay. So he might have a lot of their conversation. It just wasn't prudent to what needed to be in the film.
Okay.
And so, you can only judge that so far. I just kind of wish it was more. And I wish there were more interviews with the people who were still around who he was talking about.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that.
Because we talked a lot about, the movie talked a lot about Shaft, but we couldn't talk to Richard Roundtree. Richard Roundtree's still alive.
Call me up. You know my number.
And
you're probably busy, you know?
Yeah, know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I just wish that was available. You know what I'm saying? And so,
and you're right, the interviews were the only real break in the monotoned at, like, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the monotonous.
Thank you. That's the word I couldn't come up with.
And because also, and it was probably, and that's why I say I think the narration thing was a production thing, because I think that the intent was to have more of that, more people talking to like guide the timeline. Yeah. But it might have been a thing where I couldn't meet up with these people. I couldn't, make the schedules, meet up. And so now I have to fill the rest of it with narration.
Right.
And so if that's the case, cool. I understand. I still think should have got somebody else to do it. You know how when you see a foreign film and you want to recommend it to everybody, but like most of the people you recommend to not going to sit through subtitles. Yeah. But you like, if you can just deal with the subtitles, it's a really good movie. Right. That's how I feel about this. If you can deal with the narration, just go into understanding the narration thing, and then because it's a really good movie. Right. It's gold in there, y'all. Yeah, it is. It's gold in there. It is. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, let us know how you feel about it. Let us know. Yeah, it's on Netflix now, so check it out. Let us know what you think. And let us know if it makes you want to go watch any blaxploitation movies, because it definitely, I now want to have a marathon. Right. Black people back in the day were like fly. Yeah. I mean, we fly now, but you know what I mean. The swag was on 10. Bruh. Thanks for joining in. We'll catch y'all next time.